Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Friday, March the 6th. Well, we'll kick off with 50-cent late pick 4 at Santa Anita with race number 5. It's a mile on the turf, and it's a maiden special weight for California breds. Let's take a look at this field. You can download free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. Mike, it's a full field. It's a pretty evenly matched group, and you've got a lot of horses trying turf for the first time.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. I mean, I feel like there are, at least a couple horses in here who already have sort of established turf forms, and they feel like sort of the right favorites in here. But there's also a lot of interesting alternatives if you decide to go that way.
Let's throw up the time form U.S. pace projector for this race. The 7 Brace for Impact has shown dirt sprint speed. So he is stretching out for the first time. I have no arguments with Brace for Impact making the front going into the first turn.
I won't argue with it either, especially because they have the 2 forward. I expect Zero Down stretching out to show a little speed, too. He had speed last time. They didn't get very aggressive with him, though.
It's worth noting that there is a lot of strength in this race, Mike, on the also eligible list. The 10, the 11, and the 12, all 3 of those horses would become automatic contenders, in my opinion, if they happen to get into the body of the race.
Yeah, I agree with that. We'll see if any one of them or maybe more than one scratches in, because it does change the complexion of the race if they get in.
Well, let's start with the number 1, Saturday Johnny, one of those horses trying turf for the first time. He's by Lucky Pulpit, who only wins 5% with first-time turf runners. The dam was 0 for 2 on the surface, but she has been productive with turf runners. She has foaled 2 turf runners. Both have won, one of them winning first out on the turf. This is a horse that's tried dirt a couple of times, so now we go 2 sprints to a route. I'd expect him to be a little bit more forwardly placed than where Time Form US has him.
Yeah, we'll see if he can show more speed stretching out. There is a little bit of turf on the bottom, Dan, but boy, stepping up into this race, first time grass, he has a lot to prove.
Zero Down is the number 2, and we'll go back to Zero Down's 3-year-old debut on February the 7th. He ran okay in this race. You see him, he's right now in second position, and he's the number 5 just off the rail, and he could very easily finish 3rd or 4th, but he digs in gamely. He is second best in here, and the winner was just a runaway.
Yeah, the winner was very impressive. This horse actually had no chance. And again, as I sort of mentioned in the opening, he had speed early, but they just didn't get that aggressive with him. They decided to take a tracking trip, which worked out very well for him, but he just had no chance with that impressive winner.
But as Mike says, stretching out in distance, drawing this nice cozy inside post, he should be on or near the lead, even with the removal of blinkers. Should be sharper also in his second start of the form cycle. Really improved second off the bench, switching to turf 2 starts back. The 3 is Audace. This is a son of Minister's Wildcat and is a full brother to Bella Luma, who's a multiple stakes winner on the turf. Now, the dam was multiple stakes placed on the turf. She has foaled 5 turf winners. So maybe this horse has just been waiting to stretch out and switch to turf.
Yeah, that's kind of how I looked at him, Dan. He's of the horses that are switching surfaces in here. This was the one that I wanted to use because he has plenty of turf pedigree, and he actually didn't run that badly last time. He got outrun early in that race, had to steady a little bit, but I liked the way that he was racing on to the finish in that.
And again, he has that turf pedigree. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a big step forward. Squared Straight is the number 4. He's one of the horses with turf experience, and he really improved with the addition of blinkers last time out. My one concern about that race is it just didn't seem like there was a lot of pace up front. He did get close to that pace. He finished okay. It was certainly his best performance by a long way, and maybe he's just moving forward with each and every start.
It seems like he is. You could certainly give him another chance. I didn't love his last race, but he was sort of contesting it around the turn in there. I still thought Tropical Terror ran better than he did, but it wasn't like he ran a lot better.
Like Squared Straight, Tropical Terror was adding blinkers for that February the 8th assignment, and let's watch them as they turn into the stretch. Tropical Terror is the number 1. He is on the outside right now. Squared Straight is the 7. He's beginning to fade a little bit. They're no match for George Herman Ruth, the 10-1 long shot winner, but I like the way Tropical Terror was at least racing on at the end.
I did too. I think he finishes very gamely in this race. You see him making ground every step of the way. All in all, his trip was pretty good. He saved ground early. He got out to the clear in the stretch. I like the way he finished.
Race Trackers is the number 6. This is a horse trying turf for the first time. He is by Tiz Bud, who gets 14% winners with first-time turf runners. The dam placed on the turf. This horse just didn't get out of the gate in his career debut on dirt. He passed a few horses in the lane, but he's stepping up in class. He's switching surfaces. He's stepping up in distance. He is getting Lasix for the first time.
Yeah, listen, I guess he'll be a big price. He did make a little run last time after breaking very poorly. Maybe he'll improve.
Brace for Impact is the number 7, the expected pace setter according to Timeform US. Brace for Impact trying turf for the first time. His sire gets 11% winners with first-time turf runners. The dam was placed on turf. She's foaled 2 turf runners. Neither have won. But this horse has earned some good figures on the dirt. And I think all the connections are hoping for is that he can equal those performances on turf. And if he has a pace advantage, he's certainly usable.
Yeah, I mean, if he can run his last race, switching over to grass and stretching out, which I guess could be a question too, I guess it makes him a contender, Dan. So there are things to like, but I'm going to go in a different direction.
Big City Bane's the number 8, and this is a half-brother to Big Bane Theory, who's a graded stakes winner on the turf. Big City Bane ran okay last time out in February the 9th. Again, a race where there wasn't a lot of pace, and he pulled up 4 wide on the backstretch to get into contention. He's in between horses now, squeezed while one paced a little bit, and then he finishes on his own to be 3rd. I think he's slowly racing himself back into shape, Mike. This is basically his 3rd star off a very long layoff. I think the key for him is get him covered up early and get him to relax, because he really pulled when he saw daylight last time.
I agree, and I think it cost him at the end of that race. If you go back to his first start off that long layoff, he was much more settled. They got him over behind horses, saving ground. He settled a lot better, and I really like the run he came with in that race to be 2nd. I feel like this is a horse who's improving with every start. He just makes a lot of sense in this race.
And here's the formulator fact for the trainer, Carla Gaines, over the past 5 years with horses aged 3-year-olds and up, making their 3rd start off a 6-month to a year layoff in turf routes, 21% winners, $2.32 return on investment. The last horse in the body of the field is the 9, Burnin' Turf. This is a first-time starter by acclamation. He was such a cool turf horse back in the day, and he's winning with 12% of his first-time turf runners, as expected, not very precocious, 7% with older debut runners. Dam was placed, unraced on the turf. It just seems like a big ask for a first-time starter, especially from this post position.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. I mean, there's a little bit of pedigree here. I won't be surprised if this horse can run a little bit. But it just feels like, there are some horses in here who have already run, and they've already run pretty well.
And as we mentioned in the open, keep an eye out for late changes. If the 10, the 11, or the 12 get into this race, they have the form to make them automatic contenders. Let's see who we like. Kicking off the 50-cent late pick 4 at the Great Race Place on Friday. We're both going with Big City Bane, the well-bred 4-year-old, 3rd off the layoff. And again, it's all about getting him to relax early. I think there's enough pace in this race where it'll be able to adequately set up his kick.
Yeah, I agree with that. We'll see if he can get the right trip in this race. Again, he's just really logical to me in this race, and I didn't find anybody else that I was so interested in, although I do want to use that 3 Audace. I'm switching to turf for the first time.
Very well bred. Perhaps of the horses trying turf for the first time, you might want to give him a shot. Race Trackers, to me, might be a horse that could appreciate a little extra distance and should move forward from his debut. Just didn't seem like he knew what he was doing coming out of the gate. 8654 for me, 8534 for Mike. It is the Friday race of the day. It is the 5th at Santa Anita, and it has an approximate post of 3:08 Pacific. Good luck.